Hi all, my name is Diksha Gupta. I am pursuing my BTech from DTU and working as a 5 month intern at DE Shaw. So DE Shaw is a fintech company and it's a global investment and technology development firm. One was the aptitude section to test one logical reasoning and analytical skills, and the other one was related to computer science concepts. I have mentioned three projects in my resume, and they asked me about all three in depth. I guess open source is a great way to learn. Okay, so my advice to juniors is that don't just only focus on code DSA.
Hey everyone, welcome to Placement Experience Journey brought to you by Upscale Talks. So, we are moving ahead with our series in the role for the software development, and we have gotten Diksha. So, Diksha is currently placed at DE Shaw. So, hi Diksha, how are you? Can you just tell us about your journey?
Hi Archit, thanks for having me here. Hi all, my name is Diksha Gupta. I am pursuing my BTech from DTU in the fields of electronics and communication. I am currently in my 8th semester and working as a 5 month intern at DE Shaw. I did my summer internship at Shaw only, and I received an on campus internship offer. And after completion of my internship, I got the PPO.
Fine, Diksha. So we can now move ahead and just we shall discover more about you throughout the course of this video. So for starting, can you just tell us about DE Shaw, what actually it works at, what are its expertise, and then we can move ahead and you can just tell us about the placement process. How did you just when the company got listed till the time you got the selection, and what are all of the rounds, and how you managed to clear all of them. So can you just give us a brief about these two topics at once?
Yeah, sure. So Diksha is a fintech company and it's a global investment and technology development firm. Basically, the firm has earned an international reputation for financial innovation and technological leadership. Now, coming to the main point, that is the placement process. The company, it was the first fintech company that arrived in a D2 campus.
Yeah, I've started. Okay. um Diksha, can you just now tell us about the placement process, how actually it was, when the company got listed and till the time you got selection? So we are, just excited to hear about what was the placement process.
Okay, so basically, first one I was the online coding test, and the test comprised of three parts. One was the coding section that had only one question, and that was like basic one, very standard one, and it was based on two pointers and hash map. Then we had then one was the aptitude section to test one logical reasoning and analytical skills, and the other one was related to computer science concepts. Those were not part of curriculum, but if you are a techie or you have a knack of computer science, you can answer them. After this test, I had three rounds of interview, and in all the interview rounds, there were two interviewers. One was asking the question, and the other one was just typing our answers and cross-checking what we are telling them. And this is what I found unique in these show interviews. In the first round, they asked me to introduce myself, and we had a long discussion on the projects that I have mentioned in my resume. I have mentioned three projects in my resume, and they asked me about all three in depth. And they were basically asking the questions from what we are answering them. Like they asked me about the project. I told them like I use React.js. Then they asked me, okay, what is React.js? Why you use React.js? Or why React.js is more popular than other Angular, Vue.js, and all this stuff. So you should be prepared what you are answering. And then they ask some standard questions on operating systems, like difference between multitasking, multi-threading, and multiprocessing. They asked me which operating system I'm using, and they asked me what's the difference between i5 processor, i7 processors, stuff like that. And I have mentioned Linux in my resume, so they asked me to tell them some of the Linux commands, or Windows or Linux, which one I find better and why. So it was a general kind of interview, and they were mostly concentrating on the projects that I have mentioned in my resume. They also asked me one coding question that was the part of coding assessment. they asked me like how was the coding assessment, whether I found it easy or difficult, and how I approached with the solution of the coding question that I got in the online assessment. So this was all part of first round. In second round, they asked me about my previous internships, the projects I have worked on in my previous internships, and I have also contributed to some of the open source organizations. So they asked me like, what was the whole project, what were the contributions that I have made, and whether my mentor like my contributions, or if he or she provided me with any suggestions, so things like that. They also asked me like questions related to the skills that I have mentioned. And yeah, so this was all in the second round. Third round was the HR round, and it was kind of chit chat. They were just focusing, like, it was kind of behavioral round. So as my resume was more software oriented, so they asked me like, your resume is more related to software, so why you are in electronics and stuff like that. So they asked me some computer networks and groups related questions as well in the last round. So this was whole placement process.
Okay, so I have a few questions over here, Diksha. So you mentioned that in the first round itself, you were asked about your projects, what you did, and what are all that stuff. So how important project becomes when you are appearing for these kinds of interviews? So what should be the ideal project according to you? And if the person who's watching this video hasn't started working on that front yet, so how can he or she start in that domain?
Okay, so I guess projects plays a very important role. Like, it basically tells the interviewers like, you are not only focusing on coding stuff, you have some development related knowledge as well. So my projects, like I have told, I have mentioned three projects. Two were related to web development, full stack web development, and one was related to machine learning and deep learning. So I guess like, if you have knowledge of 2 to 3 domains, like technologies like machine learning or web development, you should have one project related to one technology and other one related to another, so that they know like you have worked on different domains. And I don't I don't know about other companies, but Disho focuses on your previous internship experiences and the projects you have listed in resume a lot.
Okay. Also, you mentioned that you should be if I personally thought when I was going to appear for SD roles, so just I would be doing DSA and competitive coding, and that would be enough. But you mentioned you had some experiences with React, web development, and all of the machine learning, deep learning fronts. So how important is for a person who is appearing for these roles, gaining experience or knowledge in other domains as well, not just DSA?
So basically, I already knew that they sure not for them, coding is not an important thing. They are mainly focused on computer fundamentals and like internship experience. I have already contributed to open source projects, so I guess this was the plus point uh, that I had. And also. Open source contributions and development projects matter a lot for companies like Disho. But yeah, this all I can say.
Okay, and also you mentioned about the computer fundamentals, right? And I personally believe that you were not from a core CS or IT background,
Yeah.
and you did not have all these subjects as your core subjects, and you did not was they were not part of your curriculum, basically, right? So, how you gained that knowledge, and if a person who's watching this is also from a non-CS or IT background, so how he or she can improve on that front, have those knowledge about the fundamental subjects like OOPS, DBMS, OS, and all of the other major subjects. And also, can you just list down what all things are important from the perspective of an interview yeah, in these subjects?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I started preparing for all these concepts like OOP, DBMS, OS 1 month before the company's internship period was starting. Internship session was going to start, and I watched Knowledge Gate videos, Sandeep Jain videos that really helped me uh, for grabbing the computer
DBMS
computer
and operating.
networking, yeah, DBMS, computer networking concepts. For oops, I read letter C twice, thrice. And yeah, basically for first company was DE Shaw. So uh, I knew that DE Shaw mainly focuses on computer fundamentals. So I tried my best to focus on these computer fundamentals. I don't remember the names of books actually, but like I have gone through some of the books as well to clear my concepts for these computer fundamentals. And I guess if you are planning like to have these concepts clear, then 1 month or 2 months will be fine for you to have clear understanding of these all subjects.
Sure. Also about the books, we can just leave the names of the books in the description section. Apart from that, one last question on this part of your presentation was that you have mentioned that there was one HR round as well. So I see a lot of people who are preparing for SD roles, just gaining the concepts in software development and all the related fields that they think are important as from a perspective of appearing for an interview. But sometimes HR round is also a crucial part, deciding whether if he is going to join the company or not. So can you just list down how actually you prepared, or you know someone who actually was not selected in an HR round? Can you share some experiences on that?
Actually, HR round is kind of behavioral round. They are actually checking your attitude and how will you be a good fit for the company or not. And like as I mentioned, they have asked me some of the computer networking questions as well. So before sitting for the DE show interviews, I remember I watched a Love Bubber YouTube channel. Like he was sharing his DE show interview experience in which he told like he cleared all the 4 rounds. But in the last round, when the interviewers asked him about some networking questions, which he was not familiar with those concepts, but still he tried to answer them. So this was the reason that he was not being selected, because he was not honest with them that he don't know about this concept. So I guess this was the one reason they asked me about my some of the computer network related questions. So I was not familiar with them, as computer networks was a part of third year. And like I was not familiar with the computer network concept, so I just told them that this is being part of third year curriculum and I am not familiar with it. So they were like, okay. They switched to another question. So they usually like they were looking for this honesty, like if a candidate is honest or not. These all small things matter in HR round.
Okay. So also one more question, that if I see a lot of people, actually not doing the projects and writing them in their resume, right? If you those they have copied it somewhere from there, and just getting the codes out of GitHub and just preparing their own repository. So how important is that, when you are actually going to an interview and interviewer might ask you what actually you have done, you get confused over there. So it shows a bad impression, right? So what in your
Yes.
perspective is important when you're writing the projects? How thorough should you be? Or it might be a case that, let's say I've written some projects, but I did it 2 years back, so I might not be thorough with the project, that what actually I did. So can you just throw some light on this as well, and then we can move ahead?
Okay, so basically, first point that you mentioned, like people usually copy the code from GitHub and all. So if you are copying the code, then you must aware of the whole concept idea behind the project. And this is the main cause, because they are not actually checking that whether you have copied it from somewhere. They just want to the whole idea, what's the tech stack used and how you can improve that project. So you should have that knowledge. And secondly, like if you have you did one project 2 years back, and you are like they asked one question regarding that, so you can just tell them that this project was did by me 2 years or 3 years back, and I don't remember. Just be honest with them, because they understand actually that you did this 2 years back, so they won't
Mm-hmm.
ask you anything in deep if you say this.
Sure. Now I think you can move ahead with the presentation, and now let's just talk about your journey, how it has been. I don't see that you have got when you got into the college first day. So I guess Disha is a very big firm, and getting into itself is a big thing. So can you just walk us through the journey that you have been? I believe that you got in the initial days of third year. So essentially, you just had 2 years with you, and how did you shape your profile into such way that the first company visit, and yes, I am into it.
So basically, I started with the development part, and I was not familiar with the coding during my first year. I just started and with the web development. Then after my first sem, I joined one of the institute, Pep Coding, and there I learned the Uh, DSA concepts. After that, I participated in coding competitions like Google Code Gem and all, and I cleared them. And along with doing besides doing DSA, I was also active in doing development part as well. Like I when I did web development related projects, I was getting bored, and someone told me to try my hands on machine learning as well. So I switched to machine learning. Then after doing machine learning, I felt that I should have done some data science related projects. So I looked for some open source organizations and competitions. I was trying to be part of Outreachy, which is an open source program like GSOC since first year. So basically, that all things I guess helped me to clear one of my interviews because, and also I focused on computer fundamentals because my seniors suggested me to focus. Computer fundamentals plays a very important role in the interviews. So I did that part also. Yeah. So I guess this helped me a lot. And talking about the preparation strategy for DE Shaw, and so before online test, I have gone through 10 to 15 articles on GFG, like reading people experiences on campus DE Shaw, and they were mainly focused on computer fundamentals. So I just after reading those, I make up my mind that I have to focus on computer fundamentals. After online test, I was confident enough that I would be selected for interviews. So before sitting for the interviews, I practiced some of the coding questions along with computer fundamentals, and I note down I went through my resume and note down all the answers that I'll be answering if they ask me for regarding my projects or my interview experiences.
Okay. Also, I have a question that you mentioned that you worked a lot in open source softwares. You contributed a lot. So I think that that overall shaped you as a better person or a better software development person. So can you just throw some insights that how did that help you? Gaining some another technology, or developing a new skill while you were participating. You are creating end-to-end projects. So how did that help you? Can you just tell us about that as well?
I guess open source is a great way to learn because, like, when I was doing web development related projects, and I was not familiar with data science, but still I contributed to data science related projects just to get the insights, like what is web scrapping is, or how we can, have use machine learning algorithms and all this stuff. So after I researched a lot on data science related concepts, and I contributed to that project. And the feedback that I got from the mentor was also amazing. And I think that this is the best way. After getting positive responses, and after I feel like I am learning more after contributing to open source projects, so I started finding out projects related to web development, machine learning, and stuff like that.
Okay, so I think we can now move ahead, and you given that you have all that experiences, you are in a good position to mentor a kid or a person who is watching this video. So can you just tell about the placement strategy for the person who is watching this video if he or she hasn't started the prep yet? So let's assume that they're in first year, second year, and third year. So what should they focus right now in the perspective of placement? Not just Disha, matlab getting a very good firm or a tech firm, let it be Fang or any other firms. So what should be the placement strategy, and how should he or she shape his journey? Also, yeah.
Yeah, so one thing is the like most important one, like one should start preparing from first year itself, is good command of data structures and algorithms. We all know that DSA plays a very important role, and like this is the main part. Second one, like if you are confident enough that you know about graphs, DP, and all, then you can start working on the development part, and like you can start building some of the web development related projects, or you can have some courses, or you can participate in hackathons, which is a plus point as well. I myself have participated in 2 to 3 hackathons, and then you can also participate in some of the mentorship programs as well, just to have a good idea about what other people are doing, and what how like what is your standard as compared to other people. So next one is that after you are comfortable with both the development and DSA part, you can start off with the core subjects if you are from a non-CS branch, like OOPS, DBMS, and computer networks. These all concepts are very, very, very important. And then we have projects are good command on projects. Like I told, if you are a developer, then you it is mandatory that you will be doing some kind of project as well. Next is the preparing for questions that might be in some way related to projects that have been done by a student. Then I think this is the I think this is a lot to be done in the 2 years. But yeah, these are the main parts
Okay.
according to me.
Okay, so while a person is shaping, just all the concepts and the things that you have mentioned previously. So apart from that, I have a question that how important role does a CGPA plays in getting you placed? Because I have seen a lot of people, having a good CGPA and still not getting placed. So can you just throw some light, and what is an ideal CGPA according to you? If they have to get into some big firms, what do you recommend on this front?
Yes, yeah, yeah. This is very good question. CGPA plays a very, very important role, and there are many companies they usually shortlist students like 500, 600 students for online test, but among those 500, 600 students, they only select 10 to 12 students for the interview. So this is all based on the CGPA cutoff. They usually mention that our cutoff is above 8.55, but yeah, they usually prefer above 9 plus, like 9 plus students. And those students who are having 9.7 CGPA, but still they are not uh, getting into the interviews or not getting the test links. So that I think this is because of their resume, or they don't have much previous internship experience or any development part. So I guess this is the main reason, as far as I know, or as far as I have seen many students.
Okay, and also, how important role, according to you or your experiences from any of your friends, does the luck factor plays? Because I have seen a lot of people having excellent knowledge, excellent skills, and still not, clearing the interview hurdle. So, what are your recommendations on this? The interview fear, I may call it, or any other term that you like. So, what is the best way to get out of this? And just keep on practicing. What is your advice if it's just based on the luck?
Yeah, actually, it's just based on the luck, because I like some of my friends who were very deserving, and they also had like CGPA, very high CGPA, 9.7, 9.8, but still they were not getting an opportunity to sit for the interviews. So I think it is just a matter of luck. But like they were not demotivated, they just tried their best. They improved from their previous experiences. So this is all I can say.
Okay, sure, Diksha. Thank you very much for taking out time, and I think we are in a good position to wrap the session up. So, any last piece of advice from you for the person watching this video if he aims to land into Disha or any other big firm? So, what is your advice to them, and then we can wrap the session up.
Okay, so my advice to juniors is that don't just only focus on code DSA. You need not you have to focus on computer fundamentals a lot and like development part as well. And like be honest in all the interviews. Like don't just say any random answers because they can easily judge if you are lying or like if you are honest to the interviewers. Second is that be confident, do not lack hope. Sometimes when you think that your interview went wrong, but your confidence can basically land you an offer as well. So thank you, Archit, for having me on this channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diksha. Thank you all for taking out time and watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.